Yo, creeping in the dark, life nocturnal, dark and dark, both paths arboreal to terrestrial. Sticky toes gripping forest students that explore. Listen close, Gecko podcast, that's knowledge galore. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Escaping heat waves, tan under rays, desert sand echoes, sun blazing days. Little hustlers, camouflage a maze, catch them speaking wisdom.
All right, we are here. It's not Sunday, but guess what? We still got a good show for y'all. So today, we got Mr. Landen, aka Gecko Lando, aka Bankroll Lando, what I always call him. Landen, why don't you go ahead and kind of tell us your how'd you get into this, man? Like, I know you're kind of a young gun. So what made you fall in love with these reptiles?
Honestly, it was all pretty relatively recent. I was living in Vegas probably like five years ago, and I was keeping fish. I had a couple fish tanks when I was living out there, and I ended up moving back and brought my fish tanks back with me, and they were cool for the time being, just to like look at and stuff. And I still love fish. I plan on getting a couple more tanks eventually, just once things settle down with stuff with the reptiles wise. But once I moved back, I kind of was in the mode of just I wanted an animal that I could handle more so, because I had my cat, and then I just wanted something that I could kind of hold and handle and actually interact with. So for my I think it was my 22nd birthday, I went to the super show in Vegas and bought my first snake. I bought a ball python, and from there it kind of just snowballed. That first year I collected probably around like 4 to 5 different rescue animals from people that were giving away that couldn't house them anymore. So I ended up collecting, along with my ball python, I got a box turtle, a Pac-Man frog, a couple, I think it was sand boas, and then also a crested gecko. Nice. Oh, and a leopard gecko as well.
Nice.
And that was, after that first year, that was pretty much all I had. And then I met my roommate, who I have now, Hector, who is Rancor Reptiles.
Yeah.
I met him through my buddy's reptile shop, the Basking Spot, Brandon, the one that he owns here in Glendora. I started going into that shop once I moved and got my snake and stuff, and kind of inserted myself into their life over there in the shop, and was just like, hey, I'm here. Hit me up if you need help. And then just kind of kept showing up in that sense. And so that was nice. And then Hector started coming in and buying bugs and stuff and whatnot. And he bought I think it was a trio of Phyllurus from Brian at Sundown.
Okay.
And I think one of them, and they were still a young trio, and one of them ended up being the wrong sex. So Brian sent him another one with a free baby. And he
Nice.
didn't have anything to do with it, or like put the baby. So he had a tank that he needed built out. So I pretty much built the tank out for him, and he traded me the gecko as payment, which is my Phyllurus Corvo that I have produced the babies from this season.
That's awesome.
And then once I got her, it kind of just was rampant. I fell in love with Phyllurus from that point on, and that's when I hit you up. I got the Williams Eye and the Intermedius from you that you produced, and it's just kind of been nonstop from there. And that was about, I think, like 4 years ago now, since I got my first ball python. And now we have over 100 reptiles in the apartment.
Damn.
So it's been a pretty crazy riding experience, but it's been awesome. I love it. I wouldn't trade honestly any of it for anything else.
Well, yeah. What do you see for yourself in the future? What are your plans with this? Where do you want to go?
My goal long term is to move out of California, which is where I'm currently at, and I have family in Texas. So my whole goal is to get out there, move out there in a couple of years, and then from there just keep expanding. And one of my main goals is to be or is to just to work with every single species of Phyllurus that we have here in the States, is to actively produce every single species that we have available.
Right.
And then on top of that is just I want to try to build one of the largest and rarest, I guess, private Aussie and Aussie collections in the States as well.
Nice. Very cool.
So definitely that Texas move, man. Like that's a good reptile scene right there, man. Like, dude, they have like almost. It feels like it's almost once a month they have a show going on.
Yeah,
It's like
It's huge.
yeah. I used to live in Texas, so it felt like literally every month I'm either going to Dallas, I'm going to San Antonio, I'm going to Houston, just somewhere they got a show. So definitely that'd be a nice ass move right there.
Yeah, most definitely. Pretty much my whole like immediate family is out there. So my parents, my brother and sister, and then my one of my grandparents are out there as well. So
Nice.
they moved out there a couple of years ago, and I was the only one that ended up getting left behind. But I pretty much did it to myself because I was focusing on the reptiles and stuff, and I already had a job here. So it was easier for me to stay here and continue doing all this rather than leave with them at that moment.
Yeah.
But I'll get out there eventually.
Your son to work for.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are here today, not to talk about stroke bears. We're here to actually talk about some good old Aussie Leaftails. Saw you started hatching them out, man. So why don't you go ahead and kind of provide us a little bit? What's their natural habitat like over in Australia? Because most people think Australia, it's hot, it's just sun just beating down, but Australia does have different climates. So why don't you kind of talk about all that?
Yeah, so originally I first got my first leaftail was Phyllurus Amnicola. I got a juvenile from the homie Steve Harlow Creek, and he actually helped me out with a lot of the care and stuff for it wise, because he's was keeping them for quite a while before. But in the wild, where Phyllurus are, it's drastically colder than everywhere else in Australia. They live in up in pretty much mountainscapes up in the mountains along rivers, which gives them their common name riverine leaftail gecko, and also Mount Elliott leaftail gecko. So those are pretty much the two. The one main spot that they're from is called Mount Elliott in Australia. You can find them, and you can also sometimes find Phyllurus. Phyllurus are a little more north, Phyllurus platurus, which is another just species. They're a little more north of Amnicola, but same thing. They like it. It's really cool where they come from as well. Really cool and very humid. So I keep them pretty much like how most people keep Europlatus. During the summer, it gets to around like 75, 77 during the day, and then it drops down to around like 65, 67 at nighttime.
Damn. So I know your AC
summertime?
bill got to be crazy expensive.
Yeah, we had to go and buy a portable AC just for the bedroom to have it in there and keep all of them in there.
Damn.
Yeah. But like the other species, as far as like Saltarius, Salabrosus, they can handle it a little bit warmer, around into like the mid 80s, for a couple hours. Not for a drastic amount of time, but they can definitely handle it a little warmer, and they'll be fine. I've noticed with the Phyllurus as well, when I was keeping him in my living room before I was able to set up the cold room like how we have it, it was getting up to like 81, 82, and it was maybe peak. It would hit that peak hours of the day for around like 1 to 2 hours, and he was doing perfectly fine as well. That's the one of the picture that I posted before that one. That's that one. The yellowish Phyllurus. That one right there is one of our females that we got from Steven.
Okay.
So we ended up buying his entire gecko group, and in that gecko group, which pretty much was the main enticer for us getting the group, was his Amnicola. He had a 1.4 Amnicola group that
Damn.
pretty much decided the whole thing. We were like, yeah, it's worth it to buy all the rest of them if we can get these 5 with it.
Sure.
Nice.
Go ahead.
How many do you know? How many species of Australian leaftails are there altogether?
Oh, there's a lot. There's probably around like 20.
There's that many, huh? How
Yeah,
many do we
between
have in
the
the hobby?
Saltarius and Phyllurus, there's quite a bit.
Really? And are they all kept in the hobby? Do we have them all here in the U.S., or do we only have a set
No,
amount?
we have honestly a very small sliver of them. As far as Phyllurus goes, we have 3 species here. We have Amnicola, Platurus, and then also Caudianulatus. I'm not too sure how to say that. But the only person that I know that has a little group of those is AJD, I'm pretty sure. And those ones, instead of having a super fat leaf tail, they have a skinny spiky tail. So it kind of reminds me of the Carphodactylus laevis, the Aussie chameleon geckos. It looks
Yeah.
exactly like their tail, but it's spiky. It has the white rings around it and everything as well.
Interesting.
But yeah, so that one right there is that's my male, the first one that I got, and he was the one that I was keeping out in the living room where it was getting to low 80s, and he was been doing perfectly fine.
Okay. Nice.
Are you housing them all individually, or do you keep them in a group?
My juveniles, I keep individually. The only ones I keep together are our breeding adults.
All the adults together, like one colony, or
No,
do you have
so
different pairs, 2
we
pairs?
have 2 separate trios running right now. So I was able to snag another male to add to the group. So now we're running 2 separate 1.2s. And then I have that male still growing up, which he should be ready either next season, most likely towards the middle, if not end of the next season.
Very nice.
Yeah. So what's their natural diet? Or I mean, pretty much what kind of feeders are you doing? Like, do you notice them going after certain bugs more than others?
Yeah, they definitely like their bugs that run a lot more than their worms, I noticed.
Okay.
In the wild, they're pretty much going to eat all the same stuff you can feed them in captivity: is roaches, worms, crickets, pretty much anything along those lines. So my main staple feeders are red runner roaches and crickets. Those are the ones I staple pretty much, and then I'll throw in an occasional like silkworm whenever we have them at the shop. I'll throw silkworms in there. I've noticed they don't really go after like superworms or mealworms. Every once in a while they will, but especially the Saltarius, once they get to a certain size, the mealworms are just kind of small for them, so they just don't really notice them. But yeah, the main ones are red runners and crickets. They love, especially the Phyllurus. They love red runners.
Yeah. Nice.
They move very similar to a cricket, right? The red runners.
Yeah, I mean, they're just really fast.
I hear people get a lot of good reaction out of them. They're one feeder I've never used yet, but everybody I talk to is like, you got to try the red runners. You got to try the red runners. I'm just scared shitless of roaches living in my house. Like it terrifies me, man. I'll have to move, man. I don't want to. I'll up and leave, man. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we've had that problem one time. cats, I have them in a bin, and it has a screen portion of the lid cut out, and it's just hot glued on. And my cat jumped on it one time, and part of it was just
Ooh,
laying down, and it was overnight, and I woke up to probably 300, 400 roaches just sprawled across the floor in the living room. So that was a
man,
fun
if you had a
morning.
girlfriend over there, she would have been gone, bro.
Would
For
have been on
real.
the
Yeah.
front porch calling moving companies.
Right?
Luckily, it's just me and the animals.
Oh man. Dude, yeah, she would have been like, nope, I'm out. I can't do this. Man.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't really had a problem with them after that. I'll see the occasional one or two running around the floor just like I will crickets, but
Yeah.
I'm not like it didn't end up getting infested or anything like that, which was luckily.
Does yours red runners do they like to climb on the like in the bin? Do they climb all over the sides?
Yeah, they
No,
can.
they can't
Cuz
climb glass.
mine
Oh, they
okay,
can't
cuz I
climb
was
glass. They can't climb on.
No.
okay, cuz I
I
was
thought they
told they
could try.
could, and when
Yeah,
I
me
had them
too.
they didn't like climb or anything. They were like pretty docile.
Yeah, no,
But
the ones we have, they aren't able to climb plastic, but they do have wings. So like the males, they can hop and kind of like flutter. So if you put the egg crate too high up to the top, when you open it, they can kind of hop over and flutter outside of the tank.
okay.
Oh, see, that changes a lot, man. I was always under the impression it could climb up glass. That's why I never got them. Like, I'm not keeping anything that could crawl out of a bin. I mean, I keep hissers, but them things are so damn big. They get out.
Yeah,
My cat or my dog eats them. Like, they don't
yeah.
stand a chance. But them little things, fuck,
No, I'm pretty
I
sure
might
it's.
actually try them.
I think the smaller ones that can climb are the lobster roaches.
I have
Okay.
them. Tell me, you ain't gotta tell me anything about them. I have them. It's a dude. Listen, they're terrible. You can't get rid of them. They're the only reason I have them. You cannot get rid of them. They are fucking roaches. But they're not in my house though. They like live. That's what I use as a bioactive, a bug in my bearded dragon tank. Got this big 125-gallon tank. I keep two bearded dragons in, and that's literally one of my bioactive type of animals. Is those freaking lobster roaches, isopods, and there's like a, believe it or not, a healthy population of spiders that all live in this damn enclosure. My bearded dragons, man, and they all just. It's its own little environment in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Wally said in those if you do put them in an aquarium, they could climb that silicone still though. So just be on the watch out for that. But so let's talk about so how you go about when you're setting these up. I mean, you got some crazy designs. So what's your thoughts on when you're starting to create a tank for
Honestly, it all really just is based on my research and what that animal is gonna thrive with. Um,
'em? Okay.
as far as like the foam backgrounds, I kind of moved away from foam backgrounds for the Leaftails just because I have them in majority of them in inside of what's it called screen tanks.
Mm,
So because I have them in those screen tanks and they're not geckos that have sticky pads, they have claws. Um, I kind of just leave it up to them. That way they can climb all over and go pretty much anywhere they want inside the tank with the sides like that. Um, but for the Leaftails and Amnicola, it's really just like setting up a tropical tank. Um, for my substrate, I use a mix of coke. It's really a really small amount of cocoa, um, like the cocoa sand or cocoa dirt.
okay.
Um, and then I mix that with peat moss, play sand, and then the little tiny pea gravel from Home Depot for drainage.
Okay.
Um, and that's and then also I'll throw in like some broken up charcoal pieces as well to mitigate like smell and stuff like that. Uh, but that's pretty much it. That's my substrate for all my leaf tail tanks, and then just isopods and like what are those stupid springtails? Just like powder blue and orange isopods and springtails.
Okay.
And then for them, they obviously need something that's going to be arboreal. Height is going to be used well over ground space for them. So I really just try to find stuff that I think looks cool and that they can benefit from. So for the Amnicola right now, I have that jungle vine that, as you can see, that one is on, and it's called like these pieces of jungle vine. I have those going all the way up in their 36 tall tanks, but I'm planning on kind of switching that around next season, and I want to change it and give it to them more naturalistic and build them a tank that has like a little stream or something, or like a little drip wall that goes into a stream along like a rock face. Um, so I'm planning on trying to scape some of those out in some new tanks for next season.
Very cool.
Okay. Yeah. So what size tanks are you doing for them as a breeding pair and for like your babies and juveniles? Like what size tanks are you using for that?
Yes. So for my juvenile, that juvenile that I have right now, he's in a 10-gallon aquarium that I flipped to be an arboreal tank.
Okay.
I've been raising him out in that one since he was around 4 to 5 months, I think. It was still pretty small once I put him in there. Right there, those babies are probably around a month and a half old. And I was
Okay.
keeping them in little herb cult, just plastic bins for the
Okay.
time being right now. I was keeping the two clutch mates together in one bin and the other baby by itself in the other bin. And then same thing goes for the Saltarius baby. We were keeping the solo baby that we had in one of those bins as well.
Okay.
But anything like whatever, like the 8x8x12s or anything like
Okay.
that, or
Yeah.
even the smaller, like the 6x6x10s or whatever. I think that's the sizes, the equivalent sizes to
Like
something like that would be perfectly fine for babies,
okay.
and juveniles really. And then as far as the adults, we don't have any pairs. All of our adults are trios.
Okay.
But even then, you can keep a trio, I think, comfortably inside a 24 or an 18x18x24. I think you can
Okay.
keep a trio pretty much of any of the species besides the bigger Saltarius inside that tank, that size, and they'll do fine. Our Amnicola right now, we have them in 18x18x36s. But that's gonna get rearranged for next season.
Okay.
So
What do you think of what's your plans for next season with those?
I want to try and get the new. I'm trying to transfer everything over to acrylic.
Okay.
Just for humidity purposes, because with all the screen tanks, I pretty much makeshifted and cut out my own acrylic and siliconed it on all of the panels besides the front door and the top for all the screen tanks. And it's nice. It's just whatever. I'm kind of over it. And with the with how I'm trying to set it up with like a with a little stream inside, I think the acrylic is just gonna work better. And as far as leaks go, I don't want to have to worry about water leaking all over my floor or onto my electrical and shit like that. So I'm just gonna try to get brand new tanks and that don't have open holes like screen tanks, and then go from there.
Okay. So we did get a question in the chat. Wally says, "Are those 8x8x12s and 6x6s? Are those acrylic or are those glass?"
I
And
think either of them, any of them would be fine as long as you have a screen top. It'll be fine.
no, I think he was asking if the ones you have are acrylic, and if so, where did you get them from?
I'm right now. I'm not keeping any Leaftails in any of that size. We already sold all of our babies.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, we sold every single baby, but we were keeping them all in herb cults. And but I'm planning on trying to move everything over to acrylic rather than glass, just because I just like the way the clear rim looks rather than the big old bulky black plastic around everything.
It's understandable. I mean, dude, like your enclosures are like dope as hell. So I think doing the whole clear joint and seeing everything, that would be so freaking cool.
Yeah, so that's the goal. I want to be able to just have that full transparency with everything, to be able to see and just admire the whole thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ant.
So you're talking about selling your geckos. Where are you selling them? How are you selling them? How are you advertising? How is that working for you?
Uh, Pretty much just on social media. I haven't really made a seller's morph market yet. Um, just because I haven't really seen the need to. Didn't really have a huge amount of production this season, and I kind of knew people were already gonna want them from the get go, so I wasn't really too worried about having to post them like that. And that being like just as well with like the social media too. I started my account, or my Instagram and Facebook account, I think last November, and it's grown pretty well. So with that, I've just kind of, rather than spending money on that without really needing to, I've just kind of been advertising on my stories and stuff like that and posts. And then if people hit me up, I'll tell them my availability as well and stuff like that.
Yeah, you work with such like niche animals that once you build a name and establish your brand, if you will, and known for these specific geckos, I mean, morph market really does you no good. People are going to come to you regardless for those
Yeah,
animals. You know,
that's kind of the goal.
yeah, you're doing it right. It's easy to see. You know, that's why I was curious is how you were selling them because you're going to get just as much attention on social media with your animals than you would with morph market competing with hundreds of thousands of other breeders in general. Like
Yeah,
you're doing it right. You're doing it right. I don't know how to articulate what I'm saying, but it's you know what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely
honestly,
seen
just
that
been
growth.
yeah, it's been a lot of help. I mean, like I said, I'm still really relatively new in the hobby. This was my first season producing anything, uh, so really just been doing my best to reach out to people and make as many friends as possible as I can, and get as much feedback and insider info like that, rather than
Absolutely.
doing it alone. And it's helped as well having my buddy Brandon, who owns the shop and runs the shop, and helping him out there. That's been helping a lot too, because I go in there and I mean, I don't do it just for any particular gain or whatever. I do it just because he's my buddy and I love the animals or whatnot, and just to go take care of him and whatnot and help him out, because it's just him and his pops and mom really that work at the shop, and it's just him pretty much throughout the week. So I do my best to help him out and be there and for him and the animals, and he hooks it up and gets me with feeders and stuff like that for my animals. So it works out nice.
What kind of shop is it? Do they sell any like I don't
It's
know? I guess
a full on
exotic
reptile shop.
reptiles.
Yeah, it's a full reptile shop. So we sell all animals, supplies, feeders, um, the whole works for reptiles.
It's called the
Cool.
basket spot, right?
Yeah, it's in Glendora,
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. I see them
Nice.
sometimes on IG. They have some cool stuff there.
Yeah, we've
Um,
been trying to get some more niche stuff into the shop too. Like, so once we're producing all the babies here, gonna take them into the shop there as well. Have them in the shop for sale on display, and then also online. Um, and then he just got a male blue tree monitor, and he's
nice.
planning on getting a female, I think, this next month or two. So we're gonna work on that project together.
Oh, that's gonna be
Very
dope.
nice.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
fun. Hopefully, have the babies for sale at the shop.
So
Yeah,
gonna
that's
kind of
cool,
derail
man.
this Phyllurus real quick
Yeah, sorry
because I
about
want
that.
to actually ask about this right here. So what size deli cups are those? And then how are you getting your heat and the UVB?
Yeah, so those deli cups are. Let me see if I can find one. Yeah, I have one right here. Let me see. Uh,
32 ounce. That's what Wally uses too. Wally set up a
it's
whole rack
tall
with
deli
them.
cups. These ones.
Okay, yeah.
So I use these along with these
One, two.
lids that have this lid right here. Um, they come from Superior Shipping. They just have a
Okay.
ton of holes.
Nice. Okay.
So I run these on top, and then I dangle a 35-watt halogen, probably about 6 to 7 inches above the deli cups, and then in between those, I have a 12% Arcadia bar, probably around like
Okay.
10 to 12 inches above, just because it's a little stronger. And I just have that directly above the like suspended above the cups.
Nice. How many species are you working with altogether now of Australian geckos?
I'm not even sure. So
Really?
for Strophaurus, I'm working with I think seven or eight species. Oedura, I'm working with Fimbria and Monoliths. And then Leaftails, I have Phyllurus Amnicola, Saltarius swaini, Saltarius celebrosus, and Saltarius catiae. And then also I have a Diplodactylus tessellatus, Lucasium damium, and then the other terrestrial stuff we have is Nefuru. So we have a 2.1 high white trio of Nefuru pilbaras. And then we have 2 juvenile aspers and 2 juvenile amae as well.
There you
Damn.
go.
Hey, you just got
Yeah,
everything, huh?
I'm trying to. Yeah. Doing my
No,
best.
we've had these conversations in private, and you're just telling me like, dude, I'm gonna go insane with this stuff. I was like, go ahead, bro, kill it. That's all I want to see. I just want to see you kill it, man, for real. So
Appreciate that, man.
we'll get back to this leaf tail stuff, right? So can you kind of talk about what are some of like the key factors when you're trying to breed them? I know there's some crazy stuff going on, especially with like weather and stuff. You want to kind of get into that?
Yeah, so that's really the main factor when breeding is the cool down period. Especially for Phyllurus, they can handle it and need it pretty cold. So before we got the group from Steven, he had already cooled them and I think they were probably about a month into the breeding season for him, and he had gotten, I think, 1 or 2 clutches maybe. But he cooled them and had them in his garage, and where he lives, it snows. So I think he was saying it was getting down like in his garage to like into the 40s at nighttime. And usually as geckos, from what I've come to understand, as geckos get older, they're gonna need a lot harsher of a cool each year that passes. To I'm not sure if it's every single species, but I've gathered that research for a couple of them, like the Oedura fimbria. The first breeding season, you can pretty much breed without having to cool or doing a very minimal cooling season. And after that, it pretty much increasingly has to get colder and colder. So my Fimbria female, she's around 11 years old, and I
Wow.
got her into like the mid to high 50s last season, and she didn't give me any eggs this year. So I'm planning on putting her outside this year to get her down into the 40s.
Wow. Damn.
And I'm contemplating putting the Phyllurus outside as well.
Okay.
At nighttime
Yeah.
just to give them that really, really staggering drop and get them stimulated. Because Phyllurus, they've been known to even be active and they'll eat in temperatures like that.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like,
crazy, pretty gnarly.
like I said, no, our buddy Kerbo, Stephen Kerbo, like he would literally he'll send me DMs like pictures, like look at this, dude, look at this, or send me a video, like look at this. It's 40.
Yeah, they're awesome.
It's just people think reptiles and here 40 degrees, and it just doesn't seem right, but it's so
Exactly.
crazy. But
Yeah.
not
You
only does
hear
it not
keeping them
seem
at a
right, but it's
constant,
detrimental.
yeah, you hear keeping them at a constant 70 degrees with never any heat source is like crazy, but they love
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's
let me
insane.
get. So
But yeah, so that's pretty much the main factor when it comes to breeding and producing viable. Really,
mhm,
with any Australian gecko, it's going to be the cooling period that's going to be the determining factor whether or not you're going to um, produce viable eggs the next season. And then, of course, you have every once in a while where they just don't want to produce and they won't, which
oh yeah.
you have. So, like, I've heard it most often happen like that with um, the warmer geckos, so like Stropharis and Oedura. They'll just decide to take a season off, females if they want to, shit like that. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never
I'm
know.
hoping my
It all
intermediates
just depends on the gecko.
take some time off because I'm not pairing my
Yeah,
intermediates this year, so I'm hoping she doesn't give me no eggs because I mean I don't know how much sperm they retain, but we're about to find out this upcoming season because she's not going to get paired. So
yeah. I've found that they haven't really. I don't think they retain the sperm very well at all. Um, because I saw the Myceliaris breeding, and I didn't get viable eggs until the last four eggs of the season. So I'm not
mhm.
too sure how, but from other people that I've talked to, like buddies in the UK, they've said that you pretty much have to keep your animals paired all season long if you want to have them constantly producing fertile eggs for the warmer
Yeah.
geckos at least.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we got a question in the chat. Steph from Green Acres asked, "So how are you cooling your Stropharis?"
So right now, I it's pretty much this entire rack is all my Stropharis right here. And then I have up here, I have my Elder Eye. But right now, I've been just kind of letting it naturally cool with the weather
Mm-hmm.
outside. I leave my sliding glass door open pretty much 24 hours a day right now, and I have my window in my kitchen open 24 hours a day as well to just let it run through. And so, pretty much to start the cooling season, I run during summer and breeding times. I run 12 to 13 hours of light and heat a day. Once I'm gonna start the cooling, I pretty much start ramping the time down just by an hour every single week.
Okay.
Um, until I get to around like 4 hours. I'm Once I get to 4 hours, I'm gonna completely turn off all the heat uh, and only run the UVB for maybe like 2 to 4 hours, possibly a day. I'm not too sure. I haven't decided what I want to do on that yet, and I'm just gonna let it get super cold. So I'm gonna try to keep it once all the lights are off. I'm gonna try to keep it to around like 65, 67 during the day, and then. But for my Ciliaris, I'm actually gonna not turn the heat off. I'm gonna keep their heat on, just because they don't really need to have a super deep cooling like some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like Elderai, they need it pretty cold for a constant like 2 to 3 months. But the Ciliaris, they don't really need it as cold just because they're not from the same area. They're more of the northern, so it stays a little bit warmer. So for my Ciliaris, I'm gonna keep the heat on and only run it for 6 hours a day, but I'm still gonna let it get cool and cold at night for them, and then just feed sparingly, like maybe once or twice a week, of 1 or 2 bugs every feeding, and then all the other stuff I'm pretty much gonna run the lights off, and then the stuff that I needed to get down into like the fees for my my Elder Eye and stuff. I think I'm gonna move them and put them directly in front of the sliding door because I have some racks that are on casters that
Okay.
I can just kind of wheel around. So I'm thinking I'm gonna move them onto that. That way I can move them in front of the door every single night, get them super chilled, and then everything else will kind of stay around that like 60 to 65, not get too cold. And yeah, I'm gonna run that for probably around like 2 months,
Okay.
and
Nice.
then just make sure I'm spraying everything daily.
What are your observations with these guys being super cold? Do they slow down? Do they act the same? How do they act as compared to being
Yeah, they
warm?
definitely slow down a lot.
Yeah. But they're
During the day.
still active though, right? They'll still come out though. They still move, or
Well, yeah, I mean, so all my tanks, I don't really give them any places to hide. As far as Chauffeurs, it's pretty much just sand and sticks. I try my best to not give them anything that they can get their full body and under like direct, I guess, shade. Just because it can be pretty detrimental, I've seen, to these geckos.
nice.
That being from they're out in Australia and in the bush, they live in twiggy like trees. So they're
Yeah.
constantly exposed to the sunlight.
Yeah.
So the way I set it up, I have my UVB like directly sitting directly on top of the tanks, so they're getting blasted by it all day long. And with that, I've pretty much upped my calcium intake to like every other feeding. I'm dusting food for them. But yeah, during the cold times, they'll stay pretty active, especially some of the smaller species. I've noticed my Williams eye and my Intermedius, they stay pretty active at nighttime. They're constantly cruising around still. The other species, I mean, they don't move a lot as much as the smaller ones. Like my Ciliaris and my Taenacata, they're not geckos to like really roam around at night. I've noticed they kind of just find a spot and just hang out and sit and perch there and just either wait to be fed or just sit there and chill out until you go messing with them.
Yeah.
Now more so that now that I've put in like the geckos together though and been putting females together, I think that's why they've been a little more active because they've all been pretty much on their own up until this point, and I've just now been putting all my females together. That way, next season I can just add the males in and not have to worry about it.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's probably why they're a little more active as well because they're paired up with their new pairs and they're just kind of sussing each other out still and just doing their own thing with each other.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think like my bearded dragon, when I brewmate them, like they go down, they're done. Like they do not move. You don't see them. They go in their cave, for months at a clip, and they're done. So when I have this, like I think of Australian geckos, I'm just getting into them myself now, so I don't really know their behaviors. I gauge everything off of what my bearded dragons do, being that they're from Australia. So I'm like, do these geckos like just go down and get knocked out? They can't, right? So I hear people talk about cooling them and how active they are, and it's like I just think it's insane, that to be a cold-blooded animal, they get cold, yet they still function like I don't know. It's just super cool to me, man. It's like you ever see those pictures of gators in Florida in the swamps, or maybe even like Louisiana, where they're frozen and the alligators are just under the ice with their noses above, and they're still alive. Like, it's so insane to me. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and that is another thing too why I think they're a little more active now is because the lights are still on for a portion amount of the day. The heat especially is still on for around I think like 5 hours right now. Yeah. So they're still getting that little boost. Once the lights go out, they're pretty much gonna just find a spot and kind of hunker down there and hang out. I noticed that with my Fimbria last season, when she had no lights on, she just tucked herself in a little corner and just hung out there for days on end.
Very cool.
So, got a question in chat. So, talking about the cooling again. I'm guessing you got Carphodactylus laevis?
Yeah, we have 4 right now.
Okay, so Stephanie was asking about that. So, how are you cooling those down as well?
Those we aren't cooling actually this season, just because they're still juveniles.
Okay.
I wasn't really planning on giving them too deep of a cool. They've grown quite a bit. They're pretty large. They're almost 3 of them are almost adult size, but I'm not gonna give them a super harsh cool. I don't think this season. I'm just gonna give them more of a mild cooling. I'm gonna still drop it. I think down to like 60 for them at nighttime, but I'm gonna probably keep it around like 67 to 68 during the daytime for them. I don't think I'm going to let it get into the 50s or 40s for them this year.
Okay.
Where do they come from in Australia? Not to get off topic with the other species, but where exactly are they from?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. They're one of They're a rainforest, like
Well, they all.
yeah. So they're one of the more cryptid. They're from like the rainforesty parts of Australia, I'm pretty sure.
I'm just starting to see them. Honestly, in the last like 18 months or so, I've seen like 5 people with them. Before that, they were just like this rumor myth. This gecko
Yeah,
people would talk about it. Now it's like shit. Now I'm trying to learn about damn things. They're a
yeah,
cool looking gecko,
uh,
man. They're cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were definitely a dream species when I first started getting into all the Aussie stuff because you never saw them for sale on any of the morph market stuff, or if you did, it was one for a couple $1,000s, and it just didn't seem attainable to me at the time when it was just me and my ball python and crested gecko and rescue box turtle. So,
That's
but
awesome,
yeah,
man. I'm happy
now
for
that
you.
I'm actually getting into more of that stuff, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So with these with the Phyllurus Amnicola, what is like their gestation period, and then when you're letting the eggs incubate, what kind of medium are you using? How long does that usually take?
So their gestation period I've noticed is around for our females. It's been around like a month and a half for most of them, and then the incubation media I've just been using perlite.
Okay.
I use a mixture, a 2-to-1 water to perlite ratio. Get it all mixed together, drain out any excess. There shouldn't be any excess, really. It should be all absorbed. And then I'm keeping them inside a Zoomed foam, one of the styrofoam incubators with the top plastic heating element to it. And I'm keeping them they were getting up to 77 during the day and then dropping down to around 74 at night. And at that, they hatched at a little over what's one out, a little over 100 days. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
A decent amount of time.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm
That's
gonna turn these lights back on real quick.
okay.
But yeah, all the Leaftails they take a while.
It's really
Those
not
ones
that bad considering what's developing in that egg. That's actually kind of impressive. It's like an
yeah.
elaborate animal.
Yeah, with all the different spikes and especially that tail that they have going on,
Yeah.
it's no wonder that it takes that long. It's definitely a miracle.
They're an impressive hatchling, man. When you show the pictures of them first, I'm like, damn, they hatch looking like they should be a 3-4 month old animal. Like they
Yeah.
and they
Especially
look
the
healthy too.
How
They
Saltarius
big
look
do they get?
strong.
Amnicosis. The Phyllurus, they get
This is the moment.
I'm not too sure what the max size is. I'm pretty sure it's around like 10 to 12 centimeters, like snout to vent length, not counting the tail.
Okay. Yeah.
They're pretty large. I'm pretty sure all of them are like longer than like my hand from like my wrist to right here. They're either like that long or a little bit
Okay.
long from
Big
snout
gecko.
to like the end of their tail. And then Saltarius, the Celebrosis, and Swainy, they're freaking huge.
Yeah.
They get to like
I know those things are pretty massive.
yeah, the Celebrosis that Hector has his adult trio, they are all right around like 12 inches long.
Damn, that's a big leaf toe.
Yeah,
Do you
they're
find
big.
any differences? Have you? Well, I'm sure you know anyway. But what are the differences between the three species you have? Are you doing anything different for any one particular species leaf tail versus another? Or are they similar?
No, during the breeding months, it was all pretty much the same care. I'm keeping them all in the same room together. I'm misting pretty much all at the same time of day for all of them. I'm feeding all the same bugs and dusting the same amounts, so it's all relatively.
And you
Right.
said in the wild, two of them would cross ranges. Two of the species would you would find in the same area.
I think you can sometimes find
Yeah.
Phyllurus platurus around the Amnicola's habitat, but I'm not too sure. I think they have seen venture down south, but they're mostly up north.
Yeah. I think I saw like a vlog from was it Scaly Beaches or whatever? The dude back over in
Yeah,
Australia.
Daily
I
Beach.
think yeah. I think he did a little herping trip, and I think they showed
I
him
would love to.
uh crossing paths a little bit. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
I'd
Honestly,
imagine
a
So,
lot
they
of that
have
stuff
to
does.
at some point. Like they clearly came from one originating species, right? Like they obviously evolved and spread across Australia. Like there's no way they look that similar, and they're different types of species of geckos. They clearly
Yeah.
evolved, adapted, and spread across the continent.
No, yeah, and a lot of the Saltarius, like the Saltarius celebrosus and the Saltarius cornutus, they both used to be part of the Phyllurus genus before getting reclassified to Saltarius.
I think
Yeah,
that's just such an interesting species. Australia in general. I don't know why, but I just one of those. I just never got into them. I guess you either fall down the well or you don't. And now that
yeah,
my eyes have been open to Australian species, especially knobtails, dude. I am in love with these knobtails, man. Like it's like Australia to me is all of a sudden become this thing that I never thought it was. I think Australia, I think of hot, arid desert, kangaroos, bearded dragons, and like tumbleweeds, right? Like it's nothing like that when you look at Australia, and you start breaking down regions and different habitats of different animals. It's I feel like a kid again, learning about things. It's just super exciting being 40 years old and getting to learn about something like this. It just makes so much more sense now. It's just such an eye opener in general, man. And just a little gecko did it to me. A little gecko has sparked enough interest for me to want to learn about a whole damn continent. It's
exactly.
super
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was with me. Once I got that first Ciliaris, it was like, shit, I'm dropping everything and I'm focusing on this.
I know the feeling, brother. It's awesome.
So, are there any kind of health issues with these reptiles, or no? Or have you like noticed anything?
Not that I've really noticed. I mean, they are pretty adept. They can drop their tail, obviously. They are pretty sensitive to that. The only time I've really seen them drop tails is during shipping, for the most part. As long as you're handling the animal with care and you're not like just yanking on it or grabbing it and like forcing it to go where it doesn't want to go, they're pretty easy to deal with. As long you just got to kind of guide them and get them to walk onto you.
It's
Yeah.
cool. I find Australian species in general, not to generalize Australia again, but like animals that can survive in Australia are like bulletproof animals, man. Like they get ran through the ringer. Like you got
Yeah,
these crazy highs and crazy lows and crazy periods of famine and drought. And I mean, like if you're from Australia and they've made it millions of years in Australia, like you got to be a real asshole to kill an Australian species, man. Like
yeah, exactly. They definitely have a lot of margin for error, which sucks because they end up getting a lot of that brunt of the neglect, but it is a good selling point as well because they, if something does go wrong for a day or two or a week or whatnot, the gecko's not gonna just perish and
it's
stuff
also
like
a great
that.
selling point. It's a great
As long
selling
as
point.
it's not getting, at least for the leaf tails, as long as it's not getting too hot, they're gonna do fine, and you're keeping them sprayed down.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah,
using any
if you,
missile system, bro? Are you
yeah.
running any
So
automatic? Oh, you are.
um, so right now I've just been missing twice a day because I need to get some new nozzles. One of my nozzles that I have, it keeps popping off every time the mister shoot turns on, and I don't have any other things to like reroute it, so it's just kind of stuck routed like that until I get the new nozzles. But when we're running that, I have it running for, it goes off every 8 hours for 20 seconds a day,
Nice.
and
Is that
then
how you're
like in
keeping your
between that
humidity
as
up as
well.
well?
What's that?
I said that's how you keep your humidity up as well for like your leaf tails and stuff.
Yeah, so that's how we only have the missing system on the leaf tails, and that's what we run it for them.
Okay.
Every 8 hours, 20 seconds every time, and then in between as well. Like if I go in there and I see it's pretty dry, I'll just go in and spray everything down too as well every once in a while.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How do these
Yeah,
guys
I'm
shed?
home quite often. I'm constantly checking on stuff.
Do they eat their
Okay.
shed? Do they eat their shed or do they not eat their own shed? They don't.
No.
This is really a legit thing. Australian species don't eat
So,
their damn shed, man.
Yeah.
Like I keep thinking, like I don't know. I'm not that I don't believe people when they tell me, but it's like it's real. Because
Yeah, even
forgot
them,
I actually
even
ball
with them
around
being
about
the
this.
more humid species, they still just
Still
tear it
don't.
off and throw it on the ground.
Interesting, man. I wonder what the hell that is.
Yeah, I just throw all those
Huh.
sheds, just give them to isopods. Let them handle
Yeah.
that.
I think that's so interesting, you know? It's
Mhm.
just Australia, right? It's only Australian species and every damn one of them at that. Like it's something, there's something to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my horny toads, they don't eat their shed either.
really?
Yeah.
Dude, I forgot you had those. God damn.
Oh,
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about those soon.
Yeah,
Damn.
most definitely.
Armadillo lizards. What's the scientific name? Those armadillo things, armadillo lizards or whatever they
Oh
are.
yeah, those ones, the Ouroboros cataphractus. So,
There you
want to
go.
see what just came in today?
Yeah.
More of them.
Shit.
These things are freaking cool, man. When I was a kid, which is ironic he says that because thorny devils and these things were the lizards I used to dream of when I was like a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy just came in from Specialty Herbs today.
Oh, nice. I saw those. I
Ooh,
saw it on Morph Market too. God damn.
wow.
Nice.
How old is that one?
I think he's a little over a year.
Oh, that's
So you.
freaking cool, man.
Yeah, so this
So
is the
that's gonna be.
male, and then I have my female over there and the other two.
That's damn cool. Dude, you could
Nice.
legitimately open up like Australia Zoo America, you know? Go to Texas and literally open up a freaking that'd be
Yeah.
so damn cool,
Well,
man.
these guys are actually from Africa, but
Are they really?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's
Armadillo
are
lizards.
all
Yeah.
of them? Are all of those armadillo? Are all of those? There's a couple other
Uh,
ones, right?
these ones, and then the Corgilus species, those armadillo ones are from Africa as well, I think, but the thorny devils are from Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why the hell I thought. Maybe probably just because they're red sand. You always see
Yeah.
them in like red sand in the background, but damn, that could be anywhere in Africa too. That's damn cool.
So, what
What
kind
part
of
of
plants do
Africa do they
you
come
like to
from?
use
Where are they
for?
coming from?
I'm not too sure. I need to do more research on that part. Most of the research I've done on them is mostly just captive care and stuff like that. I haven't
Okay.
really done the wild aspect for them yet. Planning on getting
We
into it
got a
more.
got a question in the chat, which I mean, I'm sure you don't know yet because you just got them. But Matt asked, "Are they hard to breed?"
Um,
Get your own podcast.
from what I've from like the people that I've gotten them from, I've heard as long it's really it just comes down to like the cooling. So as long as you get the
Yeah.
cooling right and you're cycling the animal, it should be relatively easy, hopefully.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I guess, yeah, like you said, just do some research.
yeah,
Like hit up that iNaturalist, hit up all that good stuff. Start figuring out what their ranges are, what the temperatures are. Put it on the weather app, whatever village it is, and then boom, you get all your information right there.
yeah, exactly.
Is there a target age for breeding them? Like, are you waiting for a specific age, or they? How does that work with those guys?
I think they need to be cycled for around like 2 or 3 seasons for
Oh
female.
wow, wow.
Yeah, and those are live bears, right?
Yeah, they're live bears.
They are. I didn't know
So
that
dope,
either.
man. I
Dang,
love that.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I want a live bearing species so bad. I think
yeah,
that'd be
they're
so
awesome.
crazy to watch a
Yeah,
reptile
same here.
born like whole. Like that's freaking crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, it was nuts when I just have these and then the Egernia stochassi. Those are my only two live bears that I have right now.
Only people's dream animals.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully
So
get some
what?
more Egernia species, some of the like Epsisolus and Eos
Yeah.
and whatnot. That's for another day, though. Those guys are pretty hard to attain as well.
Are you getting any special connections? Not to pry into your business, but working at the pet shop, have you come across any cool ass like ordering lists or any like type of like exclusive list to like importers or anything?
Um, Not really. I mean, I don't really plan on or want to deal with any like wild caught animals and stuff like that. And that's the majority of the stuff that kind of comes in to the shop.
Is it
A lot.
really? So I was going to go into business with a kid who and start a pet shop. That's a whole other story. But I was talking to him one day and he gave me this list and I didn't know. You know, I still don't really know, but I'll take your word for it. I was asking, like, is this all captive stuff or is this all wild stuff? Because the prices on some of these things were just like like it can't be real, dude. And this is where he was getting his animals from. And I'm like, I mean, for example, the Cayman lizards, the Mexican alligator. What are they? They're like red and green. A Cayman
Yeah.
lizard or crocodiles. They were
Yeah, Cayman.
$125, right? Like where are these things coming from? You're getting it for $125, bro. Like
That's
you should be
always
From the
so.
real
wild.
cautious of this crap. But just like even like the names, some of the animals on there, I've always just been super curious to get a behind the scenes like detailed rundown on how that actually works. But that's it's interesting. Not that I would want anything to do with it, but it's a whole other world I don't think most people are aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really want to deal with that, especially being the money that we're spending on the animals.
Yeah, you'd
I don't really.
compromise everything you got in that room. Like you, dude. Same reason I don't deal with. I got geckos, chihuahuas. I paid almost $3,000 for and shit, man. I'm not playing around with parasite. I don't want no. Nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope. We're not doing that. Nope.
Yeah. The only wild caught animals I have right now are two of the horny toads, but they've been in captivity for over a year and they were treated. So that's the only reason I was okay with taking them.
How are those? Because I like,
They're cool.
are you feeding them ants or are you giving them
Yeah.
a different kind of diet? Oh, you're doing the
Yeah.
ants?
Ants, and then mixed in with pretty much all the other stuff. So I'll feed them like
Yeah.
2 week, 1 to 2 week crickets. They also eat fruit flies. What are the bean beetles? That's pretty much the majority of it. And then I'll throw in ants every once in a while just to keep their formic acid intake up.
Just gonna touch on that because a buddy of mine, Johnny Crisco from Crisco Critters, has some horny devils or something, and
Yeah,
I was
he was
talking
telling
to him
me
one day, and I was
about
like,
it.
"How are you gonna
Yeah,
deal with all the ants?" And he was like, "Believe it or not, Ant," he was like, "I was doing some research and talking to so and so, and truth be told, it's the acid in the ants that they need to
Yeah.
be healthy, not the ants per se. There's other
yeah,
ways to give them this type of acid, blah 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 blah." But I just wound up talking about all kinds of other shit. But I was always curious to bring touch on that subject again. Like, how does that work? Because apparently, again, like as you know, you don't need to give them just ants. There's other things that they can eat as long as they get this type of acid.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just I wouldn't really trust any of the supplements for the formic acid right now. I've heard a
Yeah.
lot of horror stories of them causing neurological problems and stuff like that. So I'd rather just give them the ants than try to makeshift it and do without. I'd rather
Yeah.
just pay the extra buck, get some ants shipped or whatnot. Met a guy actually that lives out here in the desert, and he goes and collects them during the summer and stuff. So right before the cooling period started, I hit him up, and he was able to go and collect 2,000 for me.
Damn,
Wow.
Right before they all
Damn.
started to go into brumation.
that's cool.
Damn.
You ever think of starting a little colony, like an ant farm?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it next year.
Really?
Start a couple.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
get them
Yeah, I
going.
started seeing people over like in the shows, like in the expos. I started seeing a lot more of tables with people with
Yeah,
ants on them.
it'll be
'Cause that
cool.
was like my whole thing
Yeah, if we
of
can
not.
normalize that and keeping ants a lot more, it'll
Yeah.
definitely allow us to keep some of these more niche species that need those type of feeders.
Yeah.
If
And
we
that's
can
what
be
scared me
more,
away from getting one of those.
yeah,
Because I mean, I find them every now and then when when I go up north, when I drive up north to like Prescott and whatever.
yeah,
Me and my kids will find them all the time. But my kids like, Dad, can we take it? I'm like, no, because I'm not finna go get ants. Fuck that.
yeah.
So,
It's
but
legal
I
to
mean,
take them to collect them in Arizona, right?
I
If you
believe
live
so.
there, I guess
You just
somebody was
can't
telling
you
me.
can't sell them.
Yeah, it's kind of like California. You can collect like the hots, but I don't think you can collect only a certain amount, and you can't ship them out of the state. I don't think
Yeah,
something
and I
like
believe
that.
you can
Somebody
only
was telling me
gift them
about
to
this.
people. You can't sell them. So
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what me and my buddy gonna do with the those Madrain alligator lizards that we have out here.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna start looking for localities of those because there's some that produce higher reds than others. So we're gonna do that. But like I said, you can't sell them. So we're just my plan is just breed some, gift them to people. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So with those Phyllurus, what kind of plants are you using for those?
It's just your typical house plants.
Yeah.
A lot of like philodendron, pothos. What are some of the other ones? Yeah, really, pretty much any kind of house plant you can get at like your house plants shop or nursery.
Okay.
Works fine. Yeah.
My go-to Home Depot, man. I get a whole rack of plants for like $30, man. I keep 10 on deck at all times because these savages destroy them. So I always got something to refill a plant that dies or got broken or something.
Yeah,
That's
that is
cool.
one thing I do appreciate about the Leaftails. They're very, very mindful about all the
Really?
decorations in their tanks. Well, yeah, because they're not a gecko that's really they're not gonna jump or hop
That's all.
around. They're gonna
Who
climb.
damn sure are.
They're just gonna lunge at stuff. So
Yeah.
they're not
Very
gonna
cool.
jump and just demolish plants
But
like
yeah, you
how
said they have claws,
does.
so they're gonna know, whatever mechanism it is that they use to process. Sure, I'm sure they can tell what's a climbable surface and what's not, right? Like they're not
Yeah,
gonna try to run up the glass when they know they can't grip the glass. Like it's,
yeah.
I
Well, they
get it.
try and
That's
they'll just sit there just clawing at it until they eventually figure
really
it out and turn.
So is there any good resources, books, websites, groups that you could let
books.
people know about?
Yeah, I mean, you already said the one, the iNaturalist. That's one of the big ones that I use. That, and then also the book, The Geckos and Pigopods in Captivity by Danny Brown. Honestly, both versions of his those books are really good. For the Phyllurus, they don't really have a lot of information in a lot of the books like that. So it's more so just kind of trying to find stuff in word of mouth and from other keepers and stuff like that. That's how I've
Yeah.
with a lot of the stuff like that is just from the people I'm getting them from, asking them as many questions as possible and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But yeah, those are probably two of the two main ones that I use for pretty much all of it. The book I used for my incubation temps and stuff like that, and then the iNaturalist for pretty much like the all the other random info and stuff that I wanted to know about them.
It's cool. It's very cool in today's society, to see people. It's actually, I mean, it's sad to see people keep animals wrong because it's so easy for us to access the proper information. I mean, you can literally take yourself via satellite and land where this animals come from. Like if you know how to use technology, it's a beautiful thing. To
Yeah,
keeping animals properly.
definitely. It definitely is. It's that is one of the things that you see at the shop too is just people coming in buying animals from a shop not knowing what they have or how to take care of it. It just sucks
Mhm.
to see.
Oh
Hopefully we
yeah.
can start getting away from that a little more.
And I mean,
That's what
sometimes,
like podcasts like this is for.
Yeah, exactly.
but some to say on the contrary, sometimes, I mean, myself included, I hate to admit this, but someone winds up with an animal that they know nothing about, and it opens the floodgates, right? Like you're so intrigued by the animal that you learn everything there is to learn, and you at a certain point wind up becoming the source of information, right? Just because of
Yeah,
that interest. And sometimes it just takes a super cool animal, man, a super cool animal, and let it go. You learn, like yourself, right? Like you got into these Australian things, got one gecko, and very shortly you will be the leading resource in all these animals, right? Like it's
hopefully.
just takes
Hopefully.
an interest, man.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
So, can you share any like personal anecdotes, experiences with keeping them? Like, is there anything that people should know about that's not in these books that you've witnessed or experienced with yours?
For the leaf tails, I mean not really. It's, for them the care is pretty straightforward. As long as
Yeah.
you can keep it in the mid 70s and humid, they're going to live a long happy life. They'll pretty much eat any feeder readily available, especially the ones that run and are fast like crickets and roaches and stuff. They love them. I try to stay away from dubias now more so just because they're a little bit harder bodied and they can be the shell of them can just be harder for some of the geckos to get down. And red runners I've found have a super soft exoskeleton, and I can pretty much feed a full sized red runner, like a full size male red runner, to any of my adult like leaf tails. I can feed them to my adult Ciliaris and Taenacata
Nice.
because they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't have a spine, so they just kind of get mangled which way or not they want to go. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the care is really straightforward for them. They're pretty easy. If you can keep like new cows and stuff in the 70s and comfortably, then you can keep these guys as well.
Cool. What are you doing? I know we talked a little bit about you dust and every other feeding, but are you doing anything special as far as supplementation? Are you using any type of color enhancing supplements? Or using what are you using as far as supplementation with your
No,
collection in general?
yeah. So I only use supplements for my Carphos. I use Zoomed supplements, and I do that like once every like 2 weeks. I'll supplement their food. Other than that, I'm using Arcadia's calcium lineup. So I have their 4 different calciums or whatever that they have. They have the D3 one, the magnesium one, the shed support one, and then also like the calcium pro one or whatever.
Yeah.
So I kind of just cycle between all of those. I dust like 2 to 3 times a week. So if I dust 1 week 3 times, the next week I'll dust 2 times, and then just kind of keep going back and forth like that. And then just cycle between each calcium. Well, I'll cycle between the 3 that don't have D3 most often, and then I'll give them the D3 once every like 2 to 3 weeks as well.
And the multivitamin you're doing once, twice a week? What do you?
Yeah,
That's the one
so
you're using Zoomed, right? Multivitamin
yeah,
Zoomed.
for the Carphos with that one, I'm doing the multivitamin. That one is I'm doing like once every 2 weeks for the Carphos. But I'm not really giving that one to any of the other animals.
Any reason in particular, or you just don't think they need it?
No, yeah, I just haven't really seen the need for it yet right now. Especially with all the different calciums, they each have a little bit different added to it. So I think that kind of helps give them the
I'm
little
assuming
boost.
you're raising your feeders on some quality food too, right? I mean, I know people don't
Yeah,
think it's a direct correlation, but it absolutely is. I don't supplement half as much as people do because I raise every single thing I feed my lizards, and I know every single thing that goes into my feeders. So there's not much of a need for me to, but
yeah,
I can
exactly.
imagine you're doing the same.
Yeah, so we pretty much have Red Runner and Dubia bins that we tend to. We have 2 bins of each one that we tend to, and I'm feeding just fresh veggies to everything constantly. That's the only thing I feed. So I'll feed squashes, cucumbers, any kind of leafy greens besides like spinach. Mostly like dandelion green, kale. What else? Like mustard greens, collard greens. I usually will just go to
You're
the
spot on, dude. You're spot
uh,
on. That's the good stuff,
yeah. I usually just go to the grocery store, grab a stock of each thing, chop it all up, and then just throw it into all the different bins. And then throw some bee pollen, and then dust that with some calcium as well.
Oh yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah, you
So
do it
where
like
do
that.
you
You don't need
see?
much other external supplementation. It's
Yeah,
just falls off, in my opinion, anyway. You could dust these things with anything you want. It's by the time, especially if you're feeding in a cage where the animals are hunting, the first thing a cricket does when it gets calcium dust and crap on it anyway starts cleaning itself. Like it's
exactly.
just, in my opinion, so much more effective to feed a healthier animal than a kite and shell with some dust on it. Like it's just.
Yeah,
You're doing.
So where do you see so all these rare reptiles, right? So where do you see this stuff in the future? Do you see it making more of a not say impact, but do you see more of a demand for them, or do you think we're gonna kind of just be where we're at with all this stuff?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Definitely with like how social media has been last like recent years and how it's so easy to promote stuff. I think the more rare things, as more people like get into them, will become more sought after in that aspect. Just because they'll be in the line of sight of that many more people as well.
Yeah.
So I think that will definitely help kind of boost a lot of it because I don't know. I feel like before I made my account and started posting all of these Aussie geckos, not a lot of people really posted a lot of them like that. Like, especially doing like the videos and stuff, most people would just do just still photos and stuff like in a light box or whatnot of their animals and shit. And especially the leaf tails, you hardly see people ever really posting them, let alone posting them like holding them like how you would like a crested or something like that in your hand. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to like normalize that a little bit more and get all of them out there and seen in that aspect as well. So hopefully that kind of starts to kick off and take off as well.
It already has,
Awesome.
dude. You're creating a buzz, man. You're like single-handedly
Right.
changing the game, dude, with these Australian species. Which I admire. Like it's a super amazing thing for you to be normalizing these rare geckos the way you are. So many people think that all that's out there are these crested geckos. Crested geckos are the only thing you can hold. Now,
Yeah.
granted, there's people out there that don't want to hold things. Like Jason doesn't, perfect example, doesn't care to. He can hold and keep the coolest, smallest geckos in the world, doesn't have to hold them. But there's
Yeah.
also a
Exactly.
huge population of people like me and you out there that will not have an animal that we cannot hold, right? Like the reason I'm getting an animal is to hold and interact with that animal. A
Yeah.
lot of people want that. People need to be out there showing people that crested geckos and leopard geckos aren't the only cool gecko you can hold, man. Like, there's a whole world of geckos that you can hold in your hand that aren't going to die from touching them. Their skin's not going to fall off. Their tails aren't going to fly across the room. You
Yeah.
can pick these cool animals up, man. And you know, they're, it's real. You can
Yeah.
have something other than a crested gecko, man. Like, and not go too far out of your way to keep it much differently. Like you can successfully keep these insanely amazing animals,
Yeah.
and you're doing that.
The only thing different really is I keep all the leaf tails on UVB as well. So I keep them on 6% Arcadia UVB.
Oh yeah,
So
keep
that's
my
why I'm
people
dusting
should keep
so
crested
often.
geckos too, man. People should keep crested geckos on. I know people argue with me inside down, upside and out that they don't need it. I mean, shit, we
Or
don't
at least the shade
need a lot
dwellers
of things,
else.
but I give them to mine. My
Yeah.
all of my animals have some form of UVB, man. Like
Yeah.
it's natural. Like
Even if the 6% is a little strong for them, the shade
mhm.
dwellers work just as well for the new cows, I think.
That's what I
Yeah.
use. Yeah, I use the 5.0 shade. I think, yeah, they're 5.0. Who the hell
Yeah.
knows? I got so many different brands. Unfortunately, I hate to say, between Zoom Med, Exoterra, Zilla, but it's always the jungle one, 5 point something or a
Yeah.
shade something. And I've been using a lot of LEDs now. Since I got the solar meter, I've been exploring LED UVB. And I was always nervous because I didn't know how to really gauge it or read it or do anything. But I've been getting good. I've been having good success so far. But yeah, I definitely believe that UVB is natural and everything should have it. I mean, I keep frogs. My frogs get UVs.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're giving them the the area to get away from it,
Absolutely, very important. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
at least for those species that live in the shade. Like for the
Mhm.
Stropharis and stuff, I don't really give them that option because they're from the middle of the fucking desert. They
Absolutely.
don't get
Yeah.
so. But yeah, I definitely think everything for sure benefits off of it.
hmm There you go. You
Yeah.
said it perfect. Doesn't necessarily need it. I guess people are correct when they say they don't need it, but they will most certainly benefit from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they'll benefit from a few different ways, like you
yeah,
said, with the calcium absorption, but also from a circadian rhythm as well.
Mhm.
Just having lights on, they know when it's daytime, they know when it's nighttime. Like you do that, I mean, when it comes to breeding or comes to cooling down, they really already starting to know, like, all right, lights are turned off a lot sooner. That means we need to start kind of semi brumate and not be as active. So
yeah,
Yeah, the
lights are
regular light will do that. You don't need a UVB
Yeah,
to
but you still, I mean, you still
to
use it.
spark that
I
that
mean,
down.
you
But
still have it on for like 8 to 10 hours or whatever. So
my whole thing
light
is
goes
like a
off.
lot of
Boom.
animals see UV rays. Like we just because
Yeah.
we don't, people neglect to realize that lots of animals do see UV rays, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and that's
Yep.
mainly the reason that I use them is I watched a documentary and I talk about it a bit, but I watched this whole thing, Life in Color by David Attenborough, and they show the world filmed through a UV lens.
yeah. I've
It's
seen that one.
insane
That's a
See,
great,
right? Like it'll change
great
the way
doc.
you look at
Yeah.
everything if you watch that documentary, man. It changed how I did everything. After I watched that the first time, maybe 2 years ago, I said it's not even a question. Everything has to have UV. It's how they see, it's what they see. They absolutely need UV.
Yeah.
Like it,
That is one thing I noticed too as well with like if I'm feeding during the day, the geckos and I have the UV on, they're just as active as they would be at night for all these
Yeah.
guys.
I've noticed
Even
so
your
many
leaf tails are
differences.
pretty active.
No, so those ones they during the day they're just gonna find a spot and sit there and just
Okay.
not move all day long.
Okay.
Pretty much all the cooler stuff like that. Same thing with the carfos. The carfos actually they'll go in like I little caves that I built them, and they'll just sleep in a little cave and then come out every single night.
Okay.
They're cool, man. I love these the little Zorro mask. Like it's the little Zorro geckos. I love those things. That's what I call them, the Zorro geckos, man. They're freaking
Yeah.
cool.
They're dope. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a 2.2 right now. One of them is still raising up. It's still kind of small, but the other ones are just about adult size.
They get pretty damn big too. Steph has them. Steph at Green Acres, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big they were. I mean, I don't exactly know how big she is in person, but I mean, she's an adult human being. I can only imagine how big her hand is. Like that thing is as big as her hand. Like I always
Yeah.
had it in my head that there were these tiny little geckos, but they're
No, yeah,
not.
they're pretty big. They're
Yeah.
just as long as probably like just as long as like a crested or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
a
Just
decent sized gecko,
definitely
man.
not as thick, um but yeah, head to tail they're pretty long, full grown.
Yeah.
Very cool. One question I have about the leaf tails too, and I ask this about most geckos. I believe that nature makes no mistakes. Have you noticed any of your leaf tail species using their tails for anything? Like, do they move them? Do they signal with them? Do they do anything with them?
Yeah, more so for like threat displays.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
They if I am like inside their tank doing something and they're not digging it, they'll say if they're like straight up and down on a cork bark, they'll just whip their tail like that and just start waving it back and
That's
forth.
cool, man. I love that shit, man. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's
I have
mostly the
this little ebon
Sultana.
owl. This little ebon owie I have, and last night I came in when it was dark and I had my little light out, and I'm watching him stalk a cricket. He's rocking back and forth, and his tail's moving like it was the craziest little thing. Like he's trying, you're literally trying to act like a leaf on a tree to stalk this cricket, man. I thought it was amazing. I tried
Yeah,
to
they'll
film
do
it, but I
that.
hit my camera button, and the freaking light went on, and it fucked everything up, man. But like so crazy how they, like I said, nature makes no mistakes, and it's just whether we can decipher what the purpose is. That's cool, man. I always
Yeah,
wondered what they do with those tails.
mostly that, and then like the Phyllurus, they're a-holes. They hate me. So
Yeah.
anytime I try to either touch them or even if I just start spraying their tank with water and the water touches them, they will hiss up. They will literally arch their entire back with their tail and their head up and just start hissing and screaming at me.
Really?
Wow.
You know what? My European Sycorae does that too if I spray her. Like
Yeah.
she just start
Every
gaping,
single
mouth
time,
gaping and everything.
without fail, every single time, at least two of them will do it.
Yeah.
Are they vocalizing? Do you hear them making any noises, communicating
Yeah.
with each other? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every night when they're like the males are going after them, they're chirping at each other.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so we're coming up close to the end. Ant, you want to go ahead and do your closer?
It's a little weird because you are so young yourself, not that you're a kid, but I always ask people like, should a child, a 7-year-old kid come up to you and say, Landon, I love what you're doing, man. Someday I want to be you. I want to do what you're doing. What advice would you give a child that wanted to grow up and keep a collection as extravagant as yours?
Honestly, the main thing I would say is research. Research is the big key to all of it. Before I even oh my bad,
I can
I
hear
was
you
getting a
now.
call.
You
Yeah.
went mute
We
for
can
a
hear
minute.
you.
Um,
Yeah, you had a call or something.
but yeah,
Okay.
before I even got my first any kind of reptile, I was doing research on it for probably I think 4 months up to that point to before I bought it, just because I was scared shitless. Of first and foremost killing it, and then after that, like mishandling it and it biting me. So I was trying to do everything in my power to mitigate and not have any of that happen. But yeah, that, and then just making connections with people as well. Without the connections that I've made over the last couple of years, whether it's been me reaching out to either buy animals or just for like info and stuff like that, that's made a tremendous it's been a tremendous help, I guess, in keeping all the different animals. I definitely wouldn't have been able to get to the point to where I'm at now if it weren't for the people that have given me the info that they have with a lot of the different stuff, especially the more rare animals that you just can't really find info like that on that's readily available like that. So those two, and then really just not give up on it. I mean, I've only been doing it for a really short amount of time, and when I first got into it, I was still living with my parents, and they were dead against it. My parents hated reptiles. My mom was like, "You are not getting a snake in my house," and I was like, "All right, whatever. I'm gonna do it anyways." And better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Not really,
Ask
but
permission. Yep.
um,
I like that one.
but yeah,
That's good advice.
just not give up on it. If you really love it and you want to do it, don't listen to anybody else, because there's definitely going to be people that are going to tell you that reptiles are not where it's at. They're just not something that are going to be lucrative. But if you go about it the right way and get into the right things and meet the right people and do the right things for the hobby and for the animals, I think you can definitely succeed.
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely, man. So, like I said, my last question I always ask everybody is, even though you haven't been in the hobby too long, but what have been your biggest failures so far, and
Yeah,
then
so
what have you learned from those?
my one biggest failure probably has been losing my first female Eldorei. So I originally got that group. It was a 3.1 group. They were from Sebastian Goebel in Germany. They were sold to me at around 2.5 years old, and I was told that they were ready to breed. And that being that there's not very much info on them, I kind of just took that at face value and was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna try to plump her up this season, get her nice and chunky, and then I'll add a male in or whatnot later into the season once I feel like she's stocked up a little bit. And after that happened and talking to more people, it seems like you, at least for females, you want to wait as long as possible to breed them. Just so that being that because they are such like a small gecko. I mean, my full-grown adults, they're only this long, so they're pretty delicate in that sense. So knowing what I know now, I'm most likely gonna wait with any other females that I'm gonna be raising up to probably around like 3.5 years, and make sure that they lay duds for me before I ever pair a male with them. Yeah, that, and then
Smart.
really another big thing that I've just need to work on is not being so impatient with stuff. Yeah, I know. It's
When you find the
as you
answer, let
guys
us
obviously
know.
can see, I've just been kind of on a rampage with buying animals these last couple of years. So I've kind of gotten to a point to where I'm like pretty happy with where I'm at and what I have, and I'm still obviously gonna try to get more stuff constantly, but cool it down a little bit and just definitely don't overexert yourself. With my job, it allows me to have a lot of free time and like be here to take care of the animals, so I can kind of do it big scale like this. But yeah, definitely if you don't have the means to do it right away, don't try to, because you'll definitely burn out super quick, and you'll realize that it's a lot harder than it looks if you start falling behind on shit. Yeah.
People don't get it. I got 200 geckos, man. It could, you could easily, like, there's no, it's not an option, you know, like it's
Yeah, and
not an
I've
option to
I've, I've
slap.
realized
Like
that
it
more
just,
and more
it's
as
not an
I've
option.
continuously added more animals to it. It's just you got to really be on top of shit, and especially if you have animals that are on the weaker side or not on the as healthy side, you need to constantly be taking care of them and stuff like that, and it's time consuming. So if you don't have the time, just you need to kind of rethink stuff, I think.
Yeah. Facts.
Cool. Well, Landen, it was definitely a pleasure
Just
having you on, man.
Instagram and
Where
Facebook.
can everybody find
Both
you
my
at,
handles are Ghouls-N-Geckos. That's pretty much where I post everything. I don't have a morph market or anything yet, but once I do, I'm sure it'll most likely be the same name. But yeah, those are my two. And thank you as well for having me. This has been fun.
It's awesome.
Cool.
Just,
For
dude,
sure. No,
super, super fucking excited to have you on, man. I mean,
I
a lot of our
appreciate
fans
that.
too,
That's
man.
awesome.
So many people were looking forward to this, man. Like, it's glad to finally see your face, man. Get you out here, put a face to all the videos, man. Let the people see who you are, man. You're a super cool dude. I wish you nothing but the
I really
best. You're doing amazing shit, and you have a bright future,
Thank you,
kid.
man. I
Like,
appreciate
just
that.
keep doing
You
what you're
guys as
doing,
well.
man. You're
Wish you guys
crushing
nothing
it,
but the
dude.
best in your collections.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
Yeah, most definitely.
We had to get you on for a solo before I got you onto that group one.
Yeah, about
Because
time I
everybody needs to
finally
know
showed my
who
face.
everybody needs to know who Landen is, who Lando is, right? Yeah.
Got it, man.
But all right,
Hell yeah.
so we are going to be out.
Cool.
Everybody have a great night. Landen, stay on for a hot second. And said, everybody, don't forget, December 23rd, we're doing a holiday show. If you want to come on, chat with us, bring you on for like 5 to 10 minutes, talk about what you got, what's got you excited for the upcoming year. Send us a DM. You can send Ant a DM on Cold Blooded Gems. You can send me one, Ghouls-N-Geckos, Gecko Exchange Podcast. You can send one to Matt for Not Another Reptile Podcast. So go ahead and join. If you want to join that, go ahead. Also, and
12
talk about
days.
Wally real quick.
Go hit my boy Wally up at Supreme Geckos for the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas. You guys have until tomorrow afternoon around 2 o'clock, I guess, to register for Friday's drawing. It's something like $3,500, $3,600 worth of gifts being given away. One of Jason's gifts is being given away. The Knobtail book, all about Knobtails, is one of the gifts that's being given away tomorrow. Go check Wally out on all of his platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Supreme Geckos, great event, great donors, great people. 13th year.
Hell yeah.
Go check
Thank
it
you
out.
guys.
Get involved.
Yep. And on that note, have a good night, everybody. And
Later,
we'll
brother.
talk to y'all later. All right, cool. We are
See-
off.
Yo, creeping in the dark, life nocturnal, dark and dark, both paths arboreal to terrestrial. Sticky toes gripping forest students that explore. Listen close, Gecko podcast, that's knowledge galore. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Escaping heat waves, tan under rays, desert sand echoes, sun blazing days. Little hustlers, camouflage and maze, catch them speaking wisdom, the wild on replay. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Sculling through the leaves, shadows unseen. Master of the skies, chameleon dream. Lizard tails flip, script getting clean. Gecko exchange, true reptile fiends. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Scuttling through the leaves.